Well, it was discovered this week that an employee at Amazon attempted to kill himself by jumping off the company's 12-story headquarters in Seattle. The man distraught over the way the company handled a transfer request that he'd made, and that's put a spotlight on employee-employer expectations and relations. And here to discuss more is employment specialist Lior Samfiru, who joins me. Lior, nice to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Okay, this is a tricky one because the employee asked for a transfer. Instead, he was greeted with a performance review. Is the company here at fault of not meeting or knowing the employee's needs?
First of all, even though this is obviously a tragic and extreme story, I can say that it's shocking. So much of our self-worth and our sense of identity is tied to work. And when things are not going well and your employer is all of a sudden telling you you're not doing a good job, that can affect you emotionally. So this is an extreme version of that. That said, here, an employer is limited in what it can do. In terms of transfers, an employer is not legally required to consider transfers. It cannot choose not to do it for discriminatory reasons. So I can't say, I'm not going to transfer someone because she's a woman or because they have a medical condition. Otherwise, transfers are in the employer's discretion. Now, with respect to performance reviews, the lesson here for employers is it's not enough to say, Jeff, you're doing a bad job, do better. You need to provide some help. So here's what we're going to do, Jeff, to work with you to make you do better. Here's what our role is going to be. And I think a lot of employers forget that. And they jump into the conclusion and to the punishment. And that could really impact employees in a negative way. Not only will it not improve performance, but in fact, it can have a severe impact emotionally on the individual.
Is it a mitigating factor that the employee apparently sent Amazon officials, including their CEO, Jeff Bezos, an email saying that he may harm himself? Should they have known that this was maybe coming and done more?
You know, I think that it's difficult for an employer to know how the impact is going to be on an employee. Certainly, if an employer knows that something may happen, they should be acting not only to protect the individual, the employee, but to protect the other employees. It could be very traumatic if a coworker hurts themselves, and you have an obligation to protect your other employees. So an employer cannot just shrug off its responsibilities, and even in extreme situations like that, it's easy to say it's not our problem. It's wrong, and it does come with legal liability.
Okay, I want to swing over to Uber Eats. It's available in places like Toronto, Ottawa, and Edmonton in this country. And we've got reports this morning that in Toronto, they're going to slash employees' wages by as much as 30%. Now, much like Uber drivers, Uber Eats, these are independent contractors. I mean, other than leaving their jobs, Lior, do they have any sort of recourse? You
know, there's potentially a much bigger story here, and that is the fact that at law, these individuals may be considered employees, irrespective of what they think that they are or what Uber thinks that they are. And if, in fact, they're really employees, there's all kinds of entitlements that they have, including the right not to have their terms of employment changed, but they may also have entitlements to termination and severance pay, overtime, minimum wage. And so the reality is someone may be able to challenge their legal status and say, the way we've been treated is as employees. And that comes with a host of entitlements. And I can tell you that if someone were successful, that means that everyone at Uber Eats and the regular Uber are employees. That may well impact Uber's ability.
Is this a growing problem as we see our economy shift away from full-time employment to more sort of independent contractor work?
You know, Jeff, it's substance over form. It's very easy to say you're an independent contractor, but if you're really not, if you work for me regular hours, full-time, you're my employee. Otherwise, everyone would be an independent contractor.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
Lior Samfiru, thank you, sir. I appreciate it this morning.